This one's gonna take you for a ride.
What the fuck?
7.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Marvel vs. Capcom 2!
What?
Holy shit!
Characters are one's gonna take you for a ride. 7 arcade games featuring Marvel.
They did it. The Madmen actually did it. Marvel vs. Capcom is actually back. Well, sort of, anyways. Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably already heard the news that those sneaky little devs over at Capcom revealed the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection during the last Nintendo Direct. Now, I'm definitely late to this, but as a big Marvel vs. Capcom fan, like I'm talking, it's literally my favorite fighting game series of all time. I wouldn't forgive myself if I didn't talk about this at least once. So, we gonna do exactly that. To start things off, let's talk about the collection as a whole. First and foremost, the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection is finally bringing 6 of the most beloved titles in the Capcom Versus series to new-gen consoles, making them finally available for purchase for the first time in years. And on top of that, they're adding rollback netcode, which is amazing because like I just said, a lot of these games weren't available for purchase for some years now, and the only way you could play them was if you bought them on eBay or some other site for like a stupid amount of money, or if you were a PC person and wanted to visit them in their Fightcade prisons. So this is very good for a lot of us that didn't want to go through all that hassle. There's also a 7th game in the collection, which is the Punisher beat 'em up, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. No disrespect to Mr. Castle, but we really just here for Marvel vs. Capcom.
No. Wait.
But if we being for real, this game actually is important to the legacy of the Marvel vs. Capcom series because it actually marks the first time Marvel and Capcom first collabed on a project together, and without it, we probably wouldn't have the Marvel vs. Capcom series as we know now because of how well that game actually benefited Marvel and Capcom. So with that being the case, I actually gotta say thank you to Frank, I'm not gonna lie. Now, like I said earlier, I am a huge Marvel vs. Capcom fan, and when I heard the news of this when I woke up that morning, I was super excited for a multitude of reasons. One of them being, there's a couple games in the collection I actually didn't get to play when I was younger, like Children of the Atom and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter mainly. And on top of that, I get to see 2 of my favorite fighting game characters, Rogue and Psylocke, finally in 4K on my screen, not on Fightcade, but on an actual console in 2024. I don't think you understand, like, Rogue and Psylocke in 4K, I'm eating, like, come on. But the biggest reason was also the fact that the collection also brought back a glimmer of hope that Marvel vs. Capcom might not actually be dead after all. If you know anything about the history between Marvel and Capcom, you know that during the later years of like the 2010s and basically just the later years of the Marvel vs. Capcom series in general, Marvel and Capcom really weren't on the best of terms. And while we did get some games like Ultimate Marvel 3 and Vanilla Marvel 3, which are my favorite Marvels, obviously is the ones like, it's not the ones I started with, but it's the ones that really got me into this whole fighting game genre in the first place, or really deeper into the fighting game genre in the first place. And they're personally peak games to me, despite all the jank and everything in them. I still love those games to death. But we started off with games like that in the 2010s, and then we ended off with a game like Marvel Infinite, which, if you know anything about the series, you know that was basically like a death sentence for the Marvel vs. Capcom series as a whole. So a lot of us Marvel fans thought it was over until the day of this announcement. The fact that this collection actually exists means that Marvel vs. Capcom might actually be in good graces with each other again, and at least that a line of communication is open between the two. And whether it be because of Maximilian's Free Marvel 2 movement that happened a couple years ago, or some other outside factor that we don't know of, the fact is it exists, and with that exists a small chance that maybe a new Marvel vs. Capcom game could actually happen. But it might also depend on how well this collection sells and the reception of it. But after seeing how hype everybody's reactions were to the trailer and how hype everybody still is on social media, everybody's drawing fan art of Spider-Man and Morgan and Rogue, Psylocke, a whole bunch of different teams for Marvel. I have a pretty good feeling that the reception for this game might actually be really good and might, you know, send a very good message to the people over at Capcom and people at Marvel as well. So hopefully it sends them the right message and makes something shake, you know? Now, obviously, I'm not saying that a new Marvel vs. Capcom is guaranteed. It very well might not happen at all, but the fact is there's a possibility of it happening, and that's all I really need. You know, it went from a complete 0% chance to at least being a small possibility. And all in all, it's probably one of the hypest fighting game like announcements I've heard or I've had like happen in the last couple years in general. So obviously I'm over the moon. The only thing I could really top it for me is if, like, I don't know, at EVO they for some reason announced like a Marvel vs. Capcom 3, another Marvel vs. Capcom 3 re-release, but this time with rollback netcode. They probably ain't gonna do that though. I ain't gonna lie. Like that's really be having wishful thinking, but like you never know. Like anything is possible at this point. I mean, Marvel 2 just got brought back. Like let's be for real. Like either way, listen. I just wanted to talk about Marvel for a little bit. Obviously, like I said, I'm a big fan. I wouldn't be able to forgive myself if I didn't at least make a video on it. Obviously, I'm gonna be getting this collection. I might make some content on it, depending. We're gonna see what happens, but I'm definitely copping it regardless. And if you are a fan of Marvel vs. Capcom, or hey, even if you're not a fan of Marvel vs. Capcom, cop it anyways. Like there's so many games in here. There's no way you can't. There's like 7 games in here. There's nowhere there's not one that you might mess with a lot. You know what I'm saying? That might make you a fan. So hey, go out, play some Marvel, buy some Marvel. Like I said, support this collection. You never know what might happen with the success of this collection, bro. Like if we somehow get enough support on this game for another Marvel to happen, or an announcement to happen in the next like 2 to 3 years, bro, you don't understand what that would do. You would see a grown man cry. You would see multiple grown men cry. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You would see multiple grown men crying, holding each other on the ground. Like you don't understand what that would do to people. But I digress. Listen. Let me know what you guys think about the Marvel collection in the comment section down below. If you are a fan of the Capcom versus, let me know what your favorite one is in the comments below. Like I said, for me, it's definitely Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but like I said, that's sentimental reasons for me. If it wasn't for that one, I'd probably go X-Men vs. Street Fighter, just because, you know, listen, Rogue and Charlie, I'm not gonna lie, that's my team in that game. God, like, team is nasty, I'm not gonna lie. But with that being said, that's gonna be it for me. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to get up out of here. Hit the like button and all that for your boy. With all that being said, I'm out. So, boy.